For most of history, governments worked with paper, people, and patience. Files and cabinets, analysts with red pens, decisions made by busy humans trying to keep up. Today, something quiet and far faster has moved in behind the scenes. Artificial intelligence. Not the sci-fi kind running the country, but the practical kind that watches, predicts, and nudges how the country runs. And later in this video, I'll reveal the little-known technique agencies use to map your movements without asking your phone for permission, and why it's perfectly legal. Let's start with the street you're standing on. Smart city systems fuse camera feeds, number plate readers, and traffic sensors to predict congestion before it forms. Algorithms retime lights, open emergency lanes, and even recommend where ambulances should wait before the next call comes in. It feels like magic when a fire truck gets a green wave all the way to your block. But here's the part most people miss. The same video analytics that spot gridlock can also track a van across town, re-identify a person between cameras, and infer where a crowd will gather next. Airports are even more explicit. Biometric kiosks don't just check your face against a passport photo. They calculate match confidence, flag anomalies, and profile risk in real time. If your travel history looks unusual, wrong time of year, strange routing, too many last-minute bookings, you may quietly get a deeper inspection. That's algorithms doing triage on millions of travelers, so frontline officers can focus on the few that ping the system. Borders and ports go further. Cargo scanning models examine X-ray images for hidden compartments. Pattern-of-life tools learn which shippers, routes, and packaging are normal, and which deserve a second look. It's not a human noticing something off. It's a model noticing a deviation in a sea of routine. Move from movement to identity. Face recognition is the headline. But the quieter breakthroughs are gait analysis and re-identification. Even without a clear face, systems learn the way you walk, your body ratios, your preferred clothing shapes, and the signature you leave as pixels across multiple cameras. That's how a person can be followed from a transit hub to a stadium to a hotel without any single camera getting a perfect shot. Health departments have their own version. Syndromic surveillance models look for illness signals before hospitals do. Pharmacy purchases, school absence spikes, search trends, and wastewater readings are fused to forecast outbreaks, neighborhood by neighborhood. Done well, this saves lives. Vaccines and staff get moved before wards overflow. Done carelessly, and you can stigmatize a district or a demographic based on a statistical hunch. Taxes and benefits. Predictive analytics is already embedded. Revenue agencies score filings for audit risk based on patterns that historically correlate with underreporting. Welfare fraud systems cross-match addresses, household compositions, and transaction histories to spot impossible claims. The upside is obvious. Fewer bad actors drain the system. The downside is subtle. If the training data embeds old biases, false positives can land on the same communities year after year, with little visibility into how to appeal a machine's hunch. Public safety is where most people picture AIs in government, and where reality is more nuanced. Shot detection microphones triangulate gunfire and dispatch officers before 911 calls arrive. Predictive deployment models suggest where to place patrols on a Friday night based on seasonality, paydays, sports schedules, and historical incidents. The aim is prevention, not punishment. But feedback loops are real. Send more patrols to an area, and you'll find more minor violations there, which confirms the model and sends even more patrols. Without careful auditing, correlation becomes destiny. Disaster response shows the upside at its best. Satellite imagery runs through segmentation models to spot new burn scars, flooded streets, damaged rooftops, and blocked roads within hours. Work that used to take days. Drones equipped with thermal cameras and lightweight models find heat signatures in smoke or scan collapsed buildings for survivors. During wildfire seasons, teams use atmospheric and fuel load models to forecast where flames will jump next, then pre-position crews and evacuate fragile communities early. When these systems work, they feel like foresight. Cyber defense is where machine speed truly matters. Government networks are probed thousands of times per minute. Threat detection models learn what normal looks like inside a network and flag the slightest deviation. An unusual login time, a process spawning the wrong child process, a data flow that doesn't match the day's pattern. The triage is automated. The judgment is still human. But the initial needle in the haystack is now found by math, not by a tired analyst at 2 a.m. Then there's open source intelligence, the ocean of public data. Tools hoover up news, social posts, forum chatter, satellite photos, maritime transponders, and flight beacons. Models look for anomalies, a factory that goes quiet at odd hours, a convoy whose transponders accidentally turn off, a ship that declares it's fishing in a desert. This isn't political. It's logistics and risk. When fertilizer shipments spike in a region, when a rare chemical gets bought in bulk, when rental vans are booked near a major event, the system nudges human eyes to take a closer look. If this all sounds efficient, that's because it is. But here's the hook. Efficiencies tend to scale silently. It's easy to add one more feed, one more model, one more rule, until you wake up inside a mesh of predictions that constantly shape your options without ever saying your name out loud. Hiring and licensing show how quietly guidance becomes gatekeeping. Some agencies test resume screeners for seasonal roles. Others score business license applicants for audit priority. If the model learns that people from certain neighborhoods churn more often, you risk building geography into destiny. Nobody meant to exclude anyone. The system just optimized for success. The courts are experimenting too, though carefully. Case triage tools help allocate scarce court time by clustering similar filings and suggesting likely outcomes based on precedent. Translation models reduce delays for non-native speakers. Even sentencing support tools exist, offering statistical context around historical outcomes. The promise is consistency. The risk is laundering yesterday's bias as tomorrow's neutral math. Now for the teaser I promised. Here's the little-known technique agencies use to map movements without tracking you directly. Commercially purchased location data. Many apps share anonymized pings to brokers. Agencies don't need a warrant to buy aggregated streams. Feed enough pings into a model, and it can infer which dots belong to the same device, the home those dots sleep at, the workplace those dots sit at, and the places those dots visit at odd hours. No phone company was asked. No person was named. But, with enough context, the map becomes a mirror. The legality is tidy. The ethics are less tidy. So, where are the guardrails? The best programs share a few characteristics. Data minimization. Collect only what you truly need. Keep it only as long as necessary. Purpose, binding. Use footage collected for traffic, not for fishing expeditions. Human in the loop. Let models triage, but require people to decide. Appeal paths. If an automated flag affects your benefits, your license, or your freedom, you deserve a clear way to contest it. And independent audits. Outside teams periodically test for bias, drift, and failure, with the power to halt a system that misbehaves. The harder questions are cultural, not technical. Are we comfortable swapping a small amount of ambient privacy for faster ambulances and cleaner air? If a wildfire forecast saves a town because everyone's phones were observed near trailheads on high-risk weekends, is that a fair trade? If benefit fraud drops because claimants are cross-matched more aggressively, how do we protect the honest claimant who happens to look abnormal on paper? One more truth to sit with: capability creeps. Tools introduced for emergencies tend to linger. Systems deployed in the densest cities often expand outward. A model built for cargo inspection ends up scanning commuter backpacks, just in case. None of this requires malice, only momentum. So what do? Demand transparency reports that say which models are in use, what data they ingest, how often they're wrong, and how people can challenge a decision. Expect provenance labels on synthetic images and official communications so citizens can trust what's real. Support red team exercises where independent researchers are paid to find failure modes before bad actors do. Push for procurement rules that require evaluation of bias and explainability before a system is bought, not 6 months after it's deployed. Governments don't need to abandon artificial intelligence. In many domains, disaster response, cyber defense, health forecasting, these tools are already saving lives. The line isn't between use it and don't. The line is between quiet optimization and accountable optimization, between systems that act on us and systems that work for us. Because the most powerful government AIs are not the ones that think. It's the one that watches, remembers, and nudges, until the path of least resistance becomes the only path we see. So where's your line? Would you accept more cameras if it meant ambulances never hit a red? More data fusion if it meant flood warnings 3 hours earlier? Or does quiet, constant inference cost more than it saves? Tell me in the comments. And here's the deal. I'll feature the most thought-provoking answers in a future video. Don't forget to subscribe to AI Unlocked, where every week we explore the breakthroughs, the risks, and the future of technology. Because the future isn't coming. It's already here.